Hey Lunarticks. These readings will be for anyone who identifies with the Taurian energy, identifies as a Taurian, or is just drawn to the Taurus energy. During November 2018, specifically, we are looking at the end of November, this last week, the 24th through the 30th. And I will take a peek back at the beginning of November and what the full moon has already brought our way, Taurus. And then we will do a second reading since it is so late in the month. And whereas the first reading will allow through whatever messages need to come through, the second reading should focus, narrow the focus down to our love lives. And I say should, but the first time I tried this, we got two readings back to back that were both career and love. In fact, the first general reading was more love than anything, and then the love reading was more about your money and career than anything. And then through after hours of difficulty and through many technological failures, surprise, surprise, I lost enough of the reading that it wasn't worth trying to save the bit that was left. So that hour and a half is gone, and we do have to try to do this a little quicker this time. So I hope these messages are right on time for you, Taurus. And let's just get started with that first general reading. What I always ask for is, the messages that need to come through. And all of these messages do generally speak to some type of love in our lives, right? Whether it's self-love or love for another or others. But when I say narrowing the focus down to our love lives for the second reading, it could be, in my mind, I think that means narrowing the focus down to like romantic partnerships. But if love life means something different to you, then maybe that includes other relationships. And this first one, as I was saying, may have to do with, it could have to do with your love life, like last time, a romantic partnership, but it should allow through whatever messages need to come through. And as I said, always does normally, even in a general reading, have something to do with love for someone. I wish you could see more of these cards, but we're looking at the Tower first and foremost as what's covering you, Taurus. What's covering us, I'll say. I am Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Taurus, so I am going to say us. And while everything is falling apart on the surface, subconsciously we feel really secure. And maybe it's not that everything's falling apart so much as that a lot of things are falling away at this time. Whatever upheaval is happening this week and moving into the beginning of December, perhaps for some, is actually making us feel more secure about our current situation. There could be a significant Scorpio energy present with us this week. Our challenge is the Seven of Wands, our obstacle or weakness. We are standing firm with our emotions in check, braced for opposition from someone or something this week, Taurus. And it's translating here in the reading as a little bit of defensiveness, like that it's a hindrance, it's holding us back, or just creating our challenge. I think we're the Knight of Cups is showing up as a fear of ours. I think, you know, we're fearful of that type of energy, love offer, that daydreamy type of person and offer coming in that sounds sweet and it is intense at first, but maybe coming from someone who hasn't actually determined the difference, if they can, between their immediate rush of emotions toward us and versus their, you know, more well thought out feelings that normally develop over a longer period of time. And it can be very sweet and romantic and passionate and seem very caring and loving. And upright, I do like this energy of the Knight of Cups. There's nothing negative about any of those qualities or traits. But we're afraid of that love offer coming in for different reasons for each Taurus. And so we're feeling defensive against it. I mean, this is literally what it looks like. Someone or someone's coming in with offers like this, or just us sensing that this energy is approaching us in general, and then us, you know, braced for opposition, as I said. And because it's a water sign here, the Knight of Cups, and the Tower covering us can represent Scorpio, it may be a specifically, particularly loud and significant Scorpio coming in with an offer that is also an upheaval for us this week. And, you know, our challenge, oh, I forgot to pull past cards. Our challenge is, you know, that it doesn't look like we're going to be very receptive toward that Scorpio energy, if that's who it is coming in. And at the same time, this person communicating with us, offering us something, even if that is what the upheaval is, whatever the upheaval it is, as I said, is actually subconsciously creating this sense of, you know, supreme security for us. This very, very stable feeling. The Ten of Pentacles is, it's all, I mean, that security is how it translates here for me, but it's also comfort and skills having been mastered. It's you know, it talks about having earned this luxury that they're enjoying in the picture, having worked for it. So it's like, whatever this upheaval is that presents itself, whether it is a person with an offer coming in, a particular person, Scorpio or otherwise, or whatever the upheaval, the unexpected chaos that causes things to fall apart or away from you this week, you meet it with a feeling of security in your subconscious that you have worked for. I think, you know, that it's a space that you had to practice achieving, a state of mind that you had to practice achieving to feel secure as everything is shifting and changing. And of course that makes sense for Taurus. We're fixed, and we, you know, don't love change, especially if you have other significant fixed energy in your chart. That's not true across the board. I love to shake things up. I love change. I know a lot of fixed signs who, because of other placements, that's not always true, but it's still difficult to move through for us. It is, even if we instigate it, and if some part of us likes it, it just is difficult for us to navigate, to move through. So, you know, you can love to embrace that challenge, I guess. But you feel secure with regarding whatever upheaval this is. And like I said, it is specifically for some an offer that you're resistant to. For others, it's and it's a heartfelt offer, or it is an expression from this person's heart, if that's what it is, or these people's hearts, if that's the situation. But even more specifically, it is, you know, water sign. Even more specifically for some, it's Scorpio particularly. And then in your for some of you, you're not ready to accept the offer yet, but we're hoping that they wait around, even though we're not going to accept their offer just yet, perhaps. And I think, and it may be someone that it may be with someone who you're afraid would be toxic for you, would be an unhealthy attachment for you. Maybe it's someone that you've already been involved with, and so you can pretty well bet that it was toxic and it will be toxic. And still, I see that you're hoping that one of you can wait, if this is an offer specifically from someone else. Or even if it's, you know, an offer from a job, from a group of people, for some reason. It's like you're resistant. You know you're resistant right now, and you will be resistant to them at first. That's your obstacle this week. So you're really hoping that this person or these people or these energies, you know, can wait for you to move out of that defensive space, I suppose. Okay, so what is supporting us is the Nine of Cups, Taurus. So we are in a space of self-love this week. We find ourselves with a serene spirit, and so a serene health, because we are engaging in the necessary amount of self-love, probably because of this sense of security that we have in our subconscious. It's like it's as if the upheaval requires, the upheaval is news that you have to spend a lot more money this week, for example, than you planned on or wanted to, and then you have this sense of security where you have it, so you're proud of yourself, and there's a lot of positive self-talk and mental praising going on, and that translates into this as this self-love that is showing up as what's supporting us. That's just an example. For others, it has nothing to do with money at all. But again, it is a security that you have worked for and you have earned, and so here it is, making you feel secure when other things clearly aren't. Like you find out you have to move. Something happens to your apartment, your house, you have to move, but it turns out you have the savings account to get it done. Something like that. Again, not necessarily about money. For those of us who encounter someone coming in with an expression from their heart and some sort of offer, whether it's job or love or living or otherwise, for some it's about the upheaval being news that more energy is required of us this week than we planned on expending. And see, for a lot of us also, we're not wanting to, during this time of upheaval this week, and for some it's a minor upheaval, like relatives or friends are coming into town unexpectedly, and for others it is something major, like a major expense that you hadn't planned on, and just before, during the holidays too, really. And then we have a message of a relationship too. It could be, you know, an ex coming back unexpectedly with an offer, something like that. But and I really see that message when I read the fear card here as us being resistant to someone else's heartfelt expression. But it could also be that we are afraid to offer our genuine, authentic reaction to this situation, to this, yes, possibly Scorpio or Capricorn, but to whatever the upheaval is, to whatever this unexpected chaos is. We may be afraid to genuinely express our reaction because, you know, we are standing firm with our emotions in check, so that we can handle this, I think, handle this tower moment with grace, I think, so that we can try to navigate a time when again, a lot of multiple things are falling apart and or away, and we're hoping to have more time to deal with it. It probably has something to do with the rush of the holiday season being upon us, for those of us in the US, and I see in your hopes that you would like to keep waiting on some things, someone, have more time maybe to deal with the fact that you're feeling defensive in the face of this offer, this upheaval. As I was saying before, the Devil card is representing the first part of November for us, and so again, you know, this we'll have to get, I'll want to get clarifiers on these, but this upheaval is coming, this upheaval and possibly offer is coming right after a month of dealing with unhealthy attachments, or again, we could be talking about Scorpio and Capricorn energy. Let me just take a peek at what happened astrologically for us all month. Um, yeah, the Ace of Wands is representing us moving into the energy of the full moon in Gemini. So this seed of inspiration. We were met with a burst of creative inspiration. Or found ourselves actually birthing an idea into the world in some way, creating as we entered this full gem moon energy. So that could have been yesterday, the day before, just within the last few days. And I think I said already, I can't remember what I have and haven't said since because I did 2 recordings for us now, but this energy, you know, I think I said will continue on for a few days too. Interesting. And we're headed toward, by the end of the month and the beginning of next, we're headed toward having to make a decision related to all of this. In the near future, though, we are hoping that we can keep waiting on something, waiting to do something, waiting to face something, waiting to deal with maybe this offer. In the near future, you know, it looks like we're feeling the burden of this tower moment. We're feeling the weight of everything having fallen apart and or away, it doesn't look like we get to wait. We have to contend with all of this however we can to the best of our abilities now. Not today, but it looks like by the end of the month, the beginning of next again. But then, by the end of December, we have the Fool card. It could possibly be Aries energy, speaking to Aries energy, yes. But also, for most Taurians, I'd say most notably, this is a new beginning. It's a fresh start. Which, of course, I'm sure everyone, to some extent, feels like they have as we near the end of the year. And Taurus, it looks like we certainly come to embrace that energy if we haven't already. We are looking for, needing, or just meeting a whole new us. New way of being, way of life. It does make sense to me that this fresh start, this brand new full energy would follow a lot of things falling away from us. And as I said, we're feeling okay about that. We're feeling secure. We have enough support. We have enough resources. Or enough, you know, and or enough other people around us that we're feeling okay about what is falling away. Now, for some, you know, you may be looking at specifically, like I said, Capricorn and Scorpio energy here. And that may mean that you were dealing with Capricorn energy in your own chart throughout November, and find yourself leaning more into your own Scorpio energy now. For others, I'm going to get some clarifiers. For others, you know, it could be that's the decision at the end of the week, that you were dealing with a Capricorn outside of yourself throughout November, but now there's a Scorpio surfacing, or more likely resurfacing, in your life this week, and at the end of the month, or the end of the week and month, beginning of next, you have a decision to make between those two energies. Let's see what that decision is talking about or pointing to for the rest of us, though. So I think for most of us, we've realized throughout the beginning of November that we've realized and or can no longer deny something that was a, as I said, toxic, unhealthy attachment, maybe addiction, throughout the first part of the month. Doesn't necessarily mean we did anything about it, but I think we've spotted it. And then we have this decision at the end of the week about walking away from that which no longer serves us, that unhealthy, toxic addiction attachment, probably. We have this decision about leaving things behind that aren't meant for us, that aren't serving our highest good, that aren't taking us where we really want to be, where we really want to go, aren't helping us be who we want to be. And we could be talking about a relationship or a habit, a pattern, negative thought patterns. $99 may be particularly significant for you this week, Taurians. I see the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Wands right on top of each other here too. Let's get one clarifier on this Ace of Wands. And you've got the Queen of Cups. Feeling fragile. Maybe even irrational. Or if not, numb. Possibly moving into a space, sometimes this energy does, of even being manipulative. Over top of the Ace of Wands, which I already said was, in this spread, is coming through as an inspiration, and maybe the birth of something creative, something spiritual. Or, you know, but sometimes it does also speak to a renewed passion for something, if it's not a brand new inspiration. I think maybe, I think a lot of you in a fragile state replaced an addiction, an unhealthy attachment with something spiritual and creative that you maybe just did for the first time right around this full moon, right before or during it. Because you were feeling fragile, either overwhelmed with your emotions, or numb because you had closed off from those overwhelming emotions. Something something of that nature, needing to get in touch with your emotions or calm them down, one or the other, in that sensitive space, I think you chose to engage in something creative and or spiritual to help take the place of whatever you had realized was toxic for you, was an addiction, was unhealthy for you. And so maybe, you know, you are the tower because the tower is covering you because it's your own creation or burst of inspiration or new passion for this new practice you've tried that is shaking everything up, that is changing everything, that is changing a lot of your future plans, maybe currently, changing a lot of your holiday season plans even. I can't see exactly what it... I wish I could get more specific. So if it's not a Scorpio coming in with an offer or someone coming in and shaking things up, if it's not energies outside of yourself invading your space and world and mind and causing this moment of upheaval, it may be your own choice to try a new way of being in order to get away from that toxic devil energy that you've realized throughout the first half of the month. So some of you are wanting, you're wanting to take your life in a different direction because of whatever spiritual and or creative activity you've engaged in recently around the full moon. It's pointing you in a new direction, but you're still defensive about sharing what you're creating or what you're believing in and turning to now. You're still you're defensive about sharing this new path or what exactly it is you'll be doing on it with other energies. I think you've seen how this activity, you know, not only inspires you and turns you on and motivates you, brings out the best in you, but also can truly be what gets you away from anything that you are addicted to, that you need to get away from. And yet, at the same time, as I was saying, you don't want to share it with too many people. You're simultaneously afraid to express authentically from your heart because you're feeling defensive about what other people around you will say. That's why, you know, your strength, what's supporting you and helping you this week is this self-love, this, like I said, positive self-talk. Take it easy on yourself. Continue to do this new activity that is so good for your health, clearly, in private then, or only around people that you feel comfortable with sharing it, with whom you feel comfortable sharing it. Just go ahead and be easy on yourself. Give yourself what you want, what you need. Nurture this new thing. Be kind to it. And I see that can be what it is that you're hoping you have more time for. But with the holiday season and whatever extra chaos may be included in this upheaval card, you are just in the near future, by the end of the week, just overwhelmed. In the next few days even, certainly by the end of the week, just overwhelmed. Moving into December, starting the month of December, feeling like, You've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. You may just have one too many commitments, and you know, be sure with the Queen of Wands showing up in reverse now, be sure not to be too hard on yourself if you have to drop some of these burdens. If, you know, don't call yourself flaky, or that's a word that always comes to mind with the Queen of Wands for me, but don't be too hard on yourself. You know, that negates the self-love, or that's the opposite of the self-love that we, you know, we see would support you this week. Because yeah, you may just have too many things on your plate this week. What you really want is more time somehow. Now, for some of you, I realize I'm saying that to people who it's just impossible in your circumstance to get more time. But for others, maybe it isn't. And I want to say, if there's any way that you can give yourself the time that you're really wanting, do so. Yeah, for a lot of us, this toxic addiction is, if it's not a Capricorn that was showing up in the beginning of November, then it's someone or something that we have fond memories with from childhood, like a person we were addicted to, or not necessarily childhood, but I'm not sure why that came out like that. So yeah, maybe childhood for a lot of us. It's something we're addicted to because, you know, it's been in our lives for a long time. Maybe a partnership that's we've had for a while, or maybe someone we've known since childhood. Likely for a lot of you, again, since it came out that way. In any case, this energy of fond memories and possibly an admirer, maybe gifts from an admirer. In any case, that type of energy is connected to, that's the clarifier on the Devil card in November. So this fresh beginning may be coming because we need a fresh beginning after separating from a person. And maybe it is a Capricorn or a Virgo or another Taurus. But the decision that I see coming about walking away is possibly well into December. Midway through, toward the end even. So take some time if that's what you need. Again, give it to yourself in any way you can. I mean, if you're rushed because of the holiday season, you know, you can't push the dates of when people are coming in or necessarily, or when, you know, these actual holidays are, or the actual events surrounding them are. But if it's about, for example, needing time to decide whether or not you want to take an offer from someone, definitely take all the time that you want and need. As much time as you can before you have to make this decision. And the decision that you will make now is to walk away from, as I said, things not meant for you, lower level things, addictions, etc., for higher things. That is the path that you're on now, is to make that the correct decision. But you know, I can't really say that. It's, you know, everyone's patterns are their own to repeat, or what have you, if that's what you'd like to do. But as a Taurus, I'm happy to see that when faced with this decision, we are choosing to walk toward higher callings, healthier energies, states of mind. And for some, there is this message here of a birth, of a literal birth, instead of just birthing something creative and spiritual into the world. Some Taurians are feeling fragile because they've just realized that they are going to literally birth someone into the world. And that can be why you are showing up as the Tower energy. Perhaps you are causing upheaval in yours and everyone else's life around you by announcing that, Taurus. You know, which explains in needing more time, wanting more time, feeling defensive, being braced for opposition, and this sense of security underneath in your subconscious tells me that it is something that, you know, you really want. Whatever this upheaval is. For expecting mothers, that's the case, yes, but whatever the upheaval is, you're feeling good about where you see it headed. Some part of you knows that you're headed toward a decision where you're going to be allowed to, supposed to, and celebrated for walking away from what is not healthy for you. And you're happy that it's on its way, that it's taking shape right now, that it's starting to develop. Even if, yes, there is some part of you, as we see here at the bottom of the card, that is scared and worried and lonely and unsure amidst the change and the chaos. And the need for more time. I just keep seeing the message that if you can give yourself more time, take it. And then we also had the Empress card show up on the bottom of the deck, confirming that message about motherhood for some, coming for some. That would be in 2019. That would be clarifying the Fool, this new beginning next year, at the end of this year, the beginning of next. So there is a motherhood association for some. That's just for a few Taurians though. And we will get one advice card. Also from the Radiant Rider-Waite. The other deck is the Deviant Moon Tarot, if I didn't say so, and I will have information about both of these decks in the description of the video, Taurus. Too many. One piece of advice. Ten of Swords. With the Eight of Cups having turned up and the Devil card in your past and in the previous weeks of November, and then the Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck too. The advice seems to be done with what is painful, what is a negative cycle for you, what is not serving your highest good, what is not helping you to create your best self, your best life, or just one that makes you happy. what is unhealthy for you, what is toxic, what is holding you back, what needs to fall away, what choice, what path, what cuts even will lead to a simultaneously higher and deeper existence, which is what you know you really want. What's stifling your authentic self? What is keeping you from expressing self-love to the extent you need to? Be done with it. What's been breaking your heart? Let it do it one final time and be done with it. And that may very well have a lot to do with your love life in some sense for a lot of you Taurians, but but not necessarily. We could be talking about a job, again, a living situation, just a way of thinking, a way of being. And with that, we will move on to your love life reading. So if that one already applied to your love life, then this may just get even more specific or be a separate message. They won't necessarily both be for you. But I'm going to switch locations and come right back to you. Or not. So let's get started with your love reading now, Taurus. Messages for your love life, our love life specifically. And we are going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot deck for that, if I didn't say that already, the Radiant Rider-Waite. And we used the Deviant Moon Tarot as well for the first reading. I'm not sure if I said that before either, but the information about those and any other decks that we use will be in the description of the video. So Taurus, if you are it looks like some of you may be involved with a Leo specifically and might be taking a hiatus from spending time with them. Regardless of who you may have been involved with, it looks like in general a lot of Taurians, at least that this message is for right now, are spending time in self-reflection, spending time focusing on answering questions about yourself, for yourself, alone with yourself, spending time in meditation, asking yourself those deep philosophical questions that so many of us wonder about. And for some, though, it's possible that there is a significant Virgo energy showing up here. Some of you are deep in reflection about a Virgo energy, actually. For some, the reason that you've gone in and are seeking answers and wisdom within and wanting to spend time alone and in solitude is, for some, it's because you've had a split recently, whether it's from a Leo energy or not, and there's just not a lot of clarity surrounding what happened, surrounding who that person really is, how they really feel about you, who you are to them. If you're wondering who you are to them, ask them that question. Who am I to you? You know, in not so many words, in your words, in whatever words you want to, Taurus. If that's what you're wondering, ask. that message reminds me of that that song. I can't think of the last name, but it's called Promises or Promise, and that's a line in the song. Who am I to you? And that's just for those of you that, as I said, are wondering that if that hits home when you hear that out loud. That is what I want to know. Ask. At the same time, I personally always give people the advice to never ask questions that you don't want the answer to. But you are seeking answers right now. That's the space that you're in. I do see a split, though. This is what you know when your ego is quiet, that a bond has been broken, perhaps a trust has been broken, a partnership has ended, or at least is in question. That's something else that the Two of Cups does denote, that a partnership could just be in question for some of you. It's not, the split hasn't happened yet. And may not, but you feel it on the horizon, if it hasn't. This is your advice. This is one of your pieces of advice here. Our pieces of advice, Taurus, is to free ourselves from limiting beliefs, to take that blindfold off, escape from those swords that are not truly entrapping us, realize that what we feel is a danger at this time, whatever is scaring us at this time, isn't real. It's a shadow. It's for some just a figment of our imagination. It's a self-imposed prison cell. Why are you doing that? Why are we doing that? Different reasons for different people. Are we procrastinating? I feel called to say, what are we actually afraid of, right? If we've put up these swords, this self-imposed prison around us, and it's us who's bound our hands, and it's us who can remove this blindfold, then what is it that we're really afraid of? Because we probably are procrastinating. We probably are creating this self-imposed prison that one not need actually, truly, really fear when it comes down to it, to the moment of the battle with the people who are keeping you prisoner. When it comes down to that moment, there's nothing really to be afraid of, and some part of you knows that. So you have this trap set up for yourself that's it's keeping you stuck, but that you've decided to keep yourself stuck rather than face what there is to see when you take the blindfold off, when you see that you're not really a prisoner. So what are we really afraid of? Is a good question to ask sometimes when this card comes up. Not always. That's the message here. And this is the other piece of advice, is the Four of Wands. I don't know why I was drawn right to the Eight of Swords reverse and jumped to the advice, but I'll go ahead with the other piece of advice then, since I did. And it's, a grounded, happy, comfortable home and family life. For some of you, that's what you're looking for. For some of you, the advice is to realize that this is what you're looking for. And while going within, and I love the Hermit energy. I live in the Hermit energy a good bit. I love it, and have a soft spot for Virgos, have many Virgos in my life that I'm very close with. So I'm not discouraging that energy. I love that we're in that energy. So many people, Taurus or otherwise, are in this energy. We're moving into December, right? So and you're wanting to take a break from whatever feels like work to you in December as well, Taurus. We are. So I feel like this Hermit energy continues. So again, I'm not discouraging it. But this Four of Wands energy that we are looking for, that a lot of us are seeking, this is what, this is a picture that we want to ultimately build. And a comfortable, stable, happy home life does not necessarily mean a shared home and family life, right? That could just be you and a roommate, or you and a friend, one other family member, or you and your pets even, or just you, and you could have a comfortable, happy home life, right? But I think that it's worth noting that, you know, what we're seeking, a picture that we ultimately would rather build with someone else included than just ourselves, right? And yet first there's this need for the hermit energy, because for a lot of us, it may not be clear yet that that is what we're looking for, that's what we ultimately want. I think it is what we will find, though, the clarity that we will find. And another piece of advice that the Four of Wands points to here for us is in this space of going within and seeking and searching answers, let's remember to show gratitude for our ability to do so. Not everyone is so lucky to have the time, privacy, basic needs having been met, shelter, etc., everything that allows us the opportunity to be in hermit mode, the home that you're in, to be in hermit mode, and to show gratitude for the fact that we're lucky enough and just capable, just able to do the work that we're doing. And that's not to say at the same time, that's not to say that, as grateful as we are for that, that's not to say that we won't need a break from it. And it looks like in December we will. Because I think if you don't take a break from for some of you it is shadow work. I don't see the Seven of Swords in reverse yet, but whether it is or not, just whether that's how you think of it or not, just going within and like I said, seeking answers, seeking answers from yourself, seeking inner wisdom, seeking deeper, newer, truer connections with your own intuition, seeking solitude, and meditation. That's not to say to stop meditating in December, but we may need to stop doing that work that requires us to be a hermit, that requires us to preserve and protect our energy so much so that we need to spend most of our time, or a lot of our time at least, alone. I think that work may be part of what we need to break from. Well, what I said originally when this came up is it looks like in December we're gonna want a break from whatever feels like work to us, to you. So for some, the hermit energy will continue because that doesn't feel like work. That's not the things that we want to break from that feels like work. But for others, that if you are doing shadow work and it's gotten hard, or if it is hard to put off spending time with family and friends, especially if you're in the US around the holidays, then this hermit energy may be what it is that feels like work to you, that you feel like you need a break from. And either way, whichever way it goes, it looks like that's going to be causing some anxiety and fear and worry and sleepless nights at a time when you probably need your energy, right? If you were to push on working in the areas that you know you need a break in. And I was going to say, I didn't really finish what I was saying. I do think, though, that whether you're coupled or not, as we're spending some time hermiting, I do believe that, that Taurians are going to find, or are currently finding this week anyway, that happy, comfortable home and family life is something that they're searching for, that they're seeking, because what has been in the recent past in your crowning thoughts on your mind when your ego is quiet is our energy, the King of Pentacles. And I just clarified it with the Knight of Pentacles. So this energy of wanting to be a family man is the phrase I associate with the King of Pentacles, but that could be, you know, that could be for a man or a woman. That could be for, you know, a woman who's wanting to step into her masculine power as a Taurus, perhaps, or find a family man. So, and that's likely if you're watching this tarot reading about your love life, right? It's not for all, but it's likely. And it requires this slow and steady energy. The Knight of Pentacles is reliable and dependable and loyal and practical, and they have a sense of purpose. They move with a sense of purpose, and they pay attention to detail. And that way, being stubborn about those types of things can be such great qualities of earth signs, of us Taurus, of this Knight of Crystals in this deck. And determination and endurance are noted in this deck in particular. These are the qualities that you're looking for, that you want to embody, and I believe, and that you, that a lot of us are needing to display, to use, to showcase in order to get in order to find that person, in order to achieve this happy, comfortable, stable home life, whatever that it means in detail to you, whatever the specifics of that are for you ultimately. I think a lot of the reason, and being a family man, being a family person, someone who, you know, is the head of the family is really what we're trying to say here, whether you're male or female, is going to require more than just being a great lover or a great partner, right? There's more involved than just mental agility and emotional stability. What about the physical security that it's required to support you and a partner in a home, and just activities, daily activities together, let alone a family and all those costs, right? And I think that's been on some of our minds as of late. When our ego is quiet, that may have something to do with why you split with your partner, or why your partner split with you, or why one of you is considering it, or why the partnership is currently in jeopardy. I hate to say that. But this is all rooted in the Three of Pentacles reversed. So I'm seeing, you know, a job you don't like to do, work you don't like to do. So I think you started questioning whether or not the work you were investing in and spending all of your energy and time on was worth it. That could have been in terms of the partnership itself. Some of you, that's the reason why you've split, and that's the reason why, or that's the reason why the partnership's in question. It's because it was hard work and we weren't sure it was worth it, or someone in the situation wasn't. And for others, though, it is more about our work hasn't been satisfying, and that's caused us to pull away from the partnership, any partnership we might have been involved in, or any idea we may have had about beginning one, right? Or solidifying one, continuing on with one, any of those, depending on your particular situation. And in the near future, either, and some of us, especially female Taurians, because the Emperor just, or the Empress, I'm sorry, just came up for me as I was, as I was about to say this. And as a clarifier on the sun, it gives us this masculine and feminine duality, right? With the sun reversed and next to the Empress. You know, if you think of the sun as the masculine and the moon as the feminine, I do. But what I was going to say is some Taurians are dealing with someone's pride, possibly jealousy. The reason you're pulling away from a partnership and there's a split, or the partnership itself is in question, is because the person you're dealing with is so prideful, is so egoic, and or is so jealous. And I'm not saying that that's only for female Taurians. That may resonate if you're a male Taurus whose partner is more in their masculine energy. That doesn't mean that you're not in your masculine energy either, but I'm just saying, you know, their partner is more, you're dealing with, but likely it's for feminine energies who are dealing with a male energy who's in that space. There is a message there for that as well. If you're just single and on your own, and because a partnership is already split up or has never truly solidified, then going within during this time of hermiting, this time of, you know, this hermit energy, being your own sage, seeking your inner wisdom to answer any questions that are stumping you and halting you this week. This is what you're finding is like moving into and completely embodying your feminine power. For Taurians who have significant Virgo in their chart, that's your moon or your rising sign or something, and that's why you believe you're showing up as the hermit here, you're likely dealing with a female Leo who's missing from the picture. Maybe she's being prideful, egoic, jealous, and the message, he or she, and the message here is that in the near future, the feminine aspect of this relationship, be it you or them, is going to be very fragile, possibly to the point of being manipulative. They may seem numb, or they may seem like they're overwhelming with emotion. And I could be talking about you. But there will be this fragile feminine energy in the near future for most all of us. There's whomever is involved in this situation for you. I see this fragile, mature feminine energy in the near future. Again, either numb or overwhelming with emotion, but out of touch with their emotions in some way. Either they're out of control, they can't stabilize them, or they've numbed them to the point where they can't get in touch with them at all and they can't feel them. Or they can't access them at all, I think is what I meant to say there. But again, it can be downright manipulative. It can be downright manipulative. And if the masculine elements of yourself or your life have been dominating your world, your everyday activity for a while now, either because your partner was suppressive or because you've just been in your masculine energy and you've been stifling your feminine aspects, the parts of you that want to be creative and empathic, and emotional, then that is what you are going within at this time for, again, whether you're partnered or not. And yeah, likely in that space when you're getting in touch with your divine feminine and finding power in all of your feminine qualities and traits, and desires and needs, there will be this idea of wanting a comfortable, happy home and family life, and probably the commitment that is implied within this picture as well, but also the stability that's there in the background with that nice castle coming up into view. And I think for a lot of us, 88 may be particularly significant this week, and also for a lot of us, there's these 2 8s reversed, is why I say that. But for a lot of us, these limiting beliefs, whatever we're keeping ourselves blind to, bound by, is keeping us from this commitment, happiness, stability. The sun upright, which is at the center of the reading, is not only Leo, but it's also, you know, meeting your inner child, finding your inner light. You're seeking your inner light, you go within, and the sun card is reversed. So that, for a lot of us, that is what we're trying to get in, we're trying to find. We know we've lost some spark, some shine that is youthful, is energetic, is joyful and passionate, and can really, and can put magical energy into any project we want to take on, relationship we want to engage in to the best of our ability, to help grow and nourish. Maybe just to help us find what it is that we want to do at this time or next in our lives for some. And I think that I think all of these are connected here. You know, your happiness seems to be in a blocked position, and your advice is to unbind yourself. So I think that for a lot of us, those truths are connected there. But the way out is to see that it's just your own thoughts, your own beliefs that are keeping you from this happy, stable, again, comfortable home and family life, possibly. It's something childlike in you. It's something feminine in you that has the key to your situation, your current issue, if there is one, problem, if there is one. It's that can lead you past these swords that aren't really threatening you, these dangers that aren't real, these fears that aren't real, and into this happy, comfortable home and family life. I can say that if it's a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, or a watery, emotional, mystical, psychic, empathic type of energy, someone who just embodies the water sign qualities that you are waiting on, Taurus, that you are waiting to hear from, I think in the near future, so at least by the end of this week, that they're still out of the picture. If that's what you're looking for. Definitely. I just got a confirmation about that, feeling about that. That's definitely. For some of you, that's really important for you to know, I guess. that needs to come through. You're not and it's just a week. It's just this week. I don't know what happens for you each in detail as we go. As I said, in December, we've got the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So still looking to take a break from whatever feels like work, or something that hasn't been working, still not working. But again, 88 may be particularly significant, and at least by the end of this week, I see any water sign that you're specifically looking for being absent still. Now, or exiting, if that's what your situation is. If you associate whatever partner that you have on your mind that you're thinking of with 5 different signs, because you know their sun, moon, rising, Venus, and Mars, I may not be talking to you. If that's specifically for people who know that they primarily think of someone else as a water sign, and that's not for everyone either. For a lot of us, it's like I said, the feminine energy continuing to need this break from whatever feels like work because they're feeling fragile. And that's something to be mindful of if you're in, if that's your feminine energy, your water energy in your own chart, perhaps. But also definitely something to be mindful of if you're looking for an equal give and take in the near future with the feminine energy in this scenario. You may not be able to offer an equal give and take if you're feeling as fragile as this picture indicates to me that you will be. You may not be able to offer your total empathy to someone else if you're busy looking for it for yourself at the moment. You not as fully and completely as you're wanting to. And if it's someone else you're dealing with, they may not be able to offer you this equal give and take that you're looking for this week in the near future. In fact, they may be communicating to you that they're going to be anxious and overwhelmed and just in this terrible, painful state if they don't get to continue to take a break from whatever's feeling like work throughout December. Yeah, so that's just something to take into consideration. Someone is looking for an equal give and take here in the near future, here this week, and the feminine aspect may be too fragile, numb, or emotionally overwhelmed to offer that right now. And then the unifying message is knowledge from the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. I will read that once out of the guidebook itself. And it should also offer us some additional advice as well as that unifying message. It says, and I'll let you see the card while I read the description to you, Taurus. The knowledge card represents the first of 8 primary reasons for being in the Dreams of Gaia tarot. The acquisition of knowledge. We and our physical forms exist to learn as we learn to exist. Knowledge is power, and without it, we are powerless. It is knowledge that enables you to earn a living. It is knowledge that enables you to cook your meals. It is knowledge that enables you to treat a wound so that you can prevent infection. It is knowledge that enables you to move through your day and live your life. Without knowledge and the ability to acquire it, humanity would not be the evolved species that it is. And that's something that we can easily take for granted, right? As I was saying, we just like the shelter and the space and the privacy and the time and the energy And so the total ability to be in hermit mode when we need to be, or at any point in our lives, let alone at multiple points of our choosing throughout our lives, can be easily taken for granted, but is something to really show gratitude for. And what's in unison with that, what's holding that concept's hand, is that we can easily take for granted our ability to seek and retain and use knowledge. And again, that requires the same thing that going into hermit mode does, right? That's just a type of studying and seeking knowledge. Like I said, it's seeking inner wisdom, right? And we can seek knowledge externally and internally. But we also could easily lose touch with and take for granted how lucky we are to have the ability just to seek that knowledge, right? And that can be, and what I'm thinking is how privileged are we to block ourselves from truths when we actually, you know, have reason to show continuous eternal gratitude for our ability to seek this knowledge within, without, and here we are in such an overabundance of it that we're blocking ourselves from truths. And for some, it's that, you know, it's painful. They're painful truths to realize, to know. A little bit more about this card. It encourages us to create a better future by continuing our studies. And it asks us if what we are learning currently serves a practical purpose. It asks us if bias and unfounded prejudice happens to close us to new knowledge at this time. It encourages us to surround ourselves with books, literally, and information. It's letting us know that we actually have an opportunity right now to learn more about people in the world, whether we're recognizing it or not. This currently is or could be a time of new study and learning, whether we realize it or not. It asks us if we are and how we might be limiting our potential for learning. And for whatever reason, it asks us to consider us if our past education serves us. A few Taurians might be considering what type of education they want to give their children. Like I said, you know, some of us are thinking about what it means to be a family man or the head of the household. I just use that phrase, family man, and think of the head of the household. But again, of course, it can be a man or a woman. It's the king position in the tarot. It also, oh, and yeah, so then for those parents who are parents or future parents who are thinking about your child's education, where you want to send them to school, perhaps, etc. There's this question: did your past education serve you? Be honest with yourself about that answer. It reminds us that knowledge is power and that we exist to learn as we learn to exist. We exist to learn as we learn to exist. I love that. I love that. Love that. It feels really good to say. It's because it's so true. It feels so good to say because it's so true and well said. So I like that. Just a very gentle, sweet reminder that if you're not participating in your education in some way, if you're not choosing what you're learning and what you're learning about, it's like not participating in your existence or encouraging your own change and growth, which is existence, which is life. And how exactly that pertains to and ties into each of our love lives, Taurus, I do not know, but that is the extra piece of advice and the unifying message here. Likely for a lot of us, it's that piece about being a family person, being ready for one, considering all that means. Some of us are needing to gain more knowledge before we can choose the type of partner, type of relationship, type of life and home life that it is we really want, that we want to build. It's hard to know exactly what you want your partner to be like if you don't know what you want your life to be like, right? And of course, it's all a mystery that we want to allow to unfold for us. I'm sorry you couldn't see these cards at all, and that I maybe didn't do a great job of showing them to you. You likely saw the ones that you needed to see in this case, Taurus. Sorry about that. But 33 may also be particularly significant to you this month. I see now the 3 of Wands here on the bottom of the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. No, it's the 3 of Earth, rather. So it would be Pentacles or Coins. And then the 3 of Pentacles. Oh, so the 3 of Pentacles twice. Yes. You're wanting to do work you love to do. We may need more knowledge to determine what type of life we want, so that we also would then know what type of partner will want to build that with us, right? We'll appreciate the same picture. But we also may find that we're needing to do work that we love to do. Either we need the relationship to be work that we love to do. If it's going to be this much work, then I need to really feel good about doing it. Or again, like I said earlier, we're taking a break because from relationships or a particular partnership because we're finding how unhappy it is making us, that we don't like our job, or we don't like the work that we're putting in. Across the board, we don't like the work that we're putting in. And now, for some, that's just in terms of the partnership itself. For others, it's the way you're earning, the way you're getting your resources is so dissatisfying that it's affecting your ability to start or maintain a relationship. It's contributing to a split or a break if that's what's going on for you. So a lot of different combinations there of this message, but I do hope that it helped in some way, that it offered you something that you didn't have before you came to the reading, Taurus. Thank you so much for just checking it out, and for liking and subscribing if you haven't. I really appreciate that, as well as your messages and donations and orders. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful for each and every one of our energy exchanges here. If you would like a private reading, just scroll down to the description box. I think I already told you those are there. And check out your options. There is a cheap option that isn't a private video recording. It's just an email. But you can ask up to 3 questions. It's only $15. If you're one of the people who've been asking about the less expensive option right now, because I can't do the free readings just yet. I've had to take a break from those. I've told you all that. So we're just about caught up, and at the beginning of next year, I do plan to return to those. So in the meantime, there's that less expensive option. Thank you for checking those out, for sharing and commenting. It's all appreciated. And what else did I want to tell you, Taurus? I think that's everything. I love you very much. I hope you make wise choices moving forward throughout the rest of this year and moving into 2019, but I will post more for you before then. I will post another tarot fix for you as soon as I can.